What's up, everyone? I have Devon Haworth with me right now, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship and personal growth, some philosophy, some also some technology and fitness.
For sure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Devin. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Ottawa. Um, I moved into Ottawa. I'm originally from the country. I grew up on a horse farm, actually, and growing up on a horse farm, looking around at the cornfields, started to get me dreaming, what the city would be like. When I was 15 years old, I decided to make that dream come true into a reality, and bought my first condo, and that's where I am right now. I live in the heart of Ottawa, right next to like Little Italy area. Started going to a new high school. I just recently graduated from that high school. Great experience, and I've been searching for like work opportunities and things in Ottawa because city life brings you lots of opportunities. Um, a little bit more about myself, like personally. Um, I I'm I kind of like I like exploring new things. I have a ton of different interests, and I pursue pretty much everything that comes to my attention, which is a good thing sometimes, a bad thing other times. Because some people just think I'm distracted, or I can't commit to anything. But a little bit of an ADHD characteristic, I guess. I do jujitsu. Actually, just recently got back into it. I've been doing it. I've been doing martial arts since I was really little. Done karate, kung fu, taekwondo, pretty much everything. I started getting into jujitsu when I was 13, 14 years old. Um, I trained in kids classes for a little while before I started taking my training seriously. I trained seriously in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is the more competitive and aggressive style than the traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. I trained for about a year before I decided that I wanted to really really take it seriously, and so I went to Orlando to train more. As I was preparing for Canadian nationals, I trained with some of the best in the world over in Orlando, and it really propelled my level of expertise in jiu-jitsu. And then I came back here to Canada and did the competition and whooped ass. I got first place, so now I can say I'm the best in Canada at jiu-jitsu, which is a pretty hardcore flex.
So
Uh,
if anyone wants to challenge him, just let him know. We'll be
uh,
there.
well, I'm rusty, so now's a good time. It's been just about over a year now since I did that competition. Um, what else? I'm also very interested in science and medicine. For most of my life, I thought that I was going to pursue surgery. Um, Turns out that it's not exactly my path, my destiny anymore. But this year, one of the main reasons I moved into Ottawa was to get involved in the science community here. It's a very, very well meshed research community in Ottawa, with the Ottawa Hospital, University of Ottawa, Carleton, and the Experimental Farm, which I live a block away from. I got lots of different volunteer and internship opportunities. I got to volunteer at the Ottawa Hospital Sprott Center for Regenerative Medicine, learning about how we genetically modify stem cells to our advantage, learning how to use those stem cells for regenerative therapies, cancer, namely. They also used phage therapy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's using bacteriophages or viruses to target specific cells, namely cancer cells. That's what we worked on at the lab for the most part. So I do have a lot of interest in genetics. I still think that that's going to stay with me for a long time to come. I might may or may not pursue genetic engineering in the future. Also interested in environmentalism. One of the other opportunities that I got this year, I got to work in another lab out of the Ottawa Hospital under Dr. Kin Chan. He ran his lab, and he was genetically modifying a species of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is, if you guys know the fungus, I remember the scientific name, but
So what was that for?
it was, so he's genetically modifying the species of fungi that produces ethanol, like alcohols and breads. Man, I can't remember the name of it. Yeast, sorry.
Yes.
And yes, we're genetically modifying yeast to ferment, instead of glucose, xylose. And xylose is found in a lot of crops that we throw away. And so if we can do that, we basically have an alternate energy source from things that we'll end up throwing away anyways, and it's a growable energy source. You can, yeast is a natural, it's a living thing, so you can grow it, and it produces ethanol, which it has the potential to replace petrol in our cars. It does, but it hasn't ever been used before because it's too expensive. You're not willing to give up all the world's glucose just to run our cars, but we're willing to give up our climate, apparently. Anyway, the great thing about ethanol is that it doesn't produce carbon, no CO2. So yeah, that's really great.
Clean burning energy. That's amazing, and you were part of that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I learned a lot, and the key takeaway from my experience and all of the different things that I pursued this year while I was in Ottawa is that most people don't take advantage of the opportunities that they have, or not even just take advantage. They're not open to them. You really gotta be open to new opportunities, things that people have never done before. Like I don't know many other teenagers that have approached doctors or PhDs and asked them, can I work for you? Or, can I have a volunteer opportunity? Can I have a tour of your lab? And I was always doing that. I was always pestering, the local professionals in my area with emails, just asking them for opportunities to learn. And, if you show them that you're eager to learn, most of them are good people. So they'll be lenient. Some other things that I'm interested in, like you said, entrepreneurship. I used to run a sneaker and streetwear business on Instagram. I had tons of followers, and back then I was able to use bots for cop bots, which are basically autofill programs that help you fulfill orders when you're purchasing, like, the next Yeezy release, and it purchases it for you. And with the advent of new security protocol and stuff like that, it's a very, very difficult market to get into now. So I haven't done that for a long time, but I did make a pretty good living off of that. I used to teach piano lessons as well. I love playing piano. Also used to play saxophone, a little bit of drums, and now I'm trying to learn guitar. Another thing, I was always involved in lots of school sports, basketball, soccer, and yeah, I think that's enough.
Wow.
Basically, I involve myself. The takeaways that I involve myself in, like, everything that I find myself upon, and I have lots of different interests.
That's awesome that you take that passion and actually transfer it to do something. And
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, you're doing all these things at this young age. How do you accomplish all these things at such a young age?
Um, that's a.
I mean, take
I
your
mean,
time.
different
Probably a
different
lot of time.
circumstances in every way. different thing that I've accomplished. I think one of my biggest learning experiences that has helped me to develop this mindset of pursuing things and actually fulfilling them um, for myself is jujitsu. Like my experience with nationals, I wasn't expecting to win. I had no idea what I was up against, really. I'd competed twice before in my entire life, and most people that were entering that competition had been training their whole lives since they were like babies, and they've got tons of accolades behind their name. And yeah, I was just this kid. I just turned 16 years old, and I was in the adult division now. And I had literally no idea what I was up against. And I knowing that, I realized that there was no way that I'd I'd be able to compete mentally on the level of other people. I had to compete with myself. And I learned that actually before the competition, before I even started training for the competition. It goes back to um, the summer after I turned 16, which would have been 20, 2017, I believe. Yeah. 2017, 2018, sorry. And I got a concussion while I was training at jiu-jitsu, a really bad one. And I wasn't allowed to train for 5 or 6 months, which only gave me a month to train for nationals, which is great. And so while I was out of the game, I decided to pursue uh, you know, exercise, working out. I'd never gone to a gym well, I've gone to gyms before, but I've never taken it seriously. So I did my research for a month or two before I started going to the gym, because I still did have to take it easy because of my concussion. And once I got there, I realized like I knew exactly what I was doing. I went into the gym knowing what I was going to get accomplished out of my session, and I did it. And if I didn't do it, then I knew that next time I was going to come to the gym. So let's say my goal was to bench 100 pounds, right? If I go to the gym and I end up benching 100 pounds, I've accomplished that. And now next time I go to the gym, I want to bench 105 pounds. That's my goal. If I don't do that, okay, now I ask myself, okay, what are the reasons why? There's only one reason why. It's because you didn't commit to your path to success, or you pushed yourself too hard, and that comes with knowing your limits. And you don't know your limits ever if you don't step outside your comfort zone. And that's what I'm trying to get at mainly, is that most of us right now, we're living within our comfort zones, and that's okay for some people. But it's not okay if you want to be the best at something. You cannot live within your own comfort zones. You have to be pushing it every single day of your life. And I say this all the time. Why pursue something if you don't want to be the best at it? Why in the first place? I ask myself why I'm doing things all the time. That's another big part. It always comes back to, what do you get out of it personally? How does it fulfill you? And the reason why I wanted to get into exercise, or at least I didn't even realize why until I was actually in it. And that's a pretty common path. People end up doing things. They go to university and then they find their passion while they're there. And a lot of the time it doesn't even turn out to be what they initially committed to, right? They end up learning from a friend about, they're in the arts program and they learn about engineering or whatever, and then they switch paths and they realize, oh, this is beautiful, I love this, and then they end up doing that for the rest of their lives, right? But it's all about taking action and being open to new experiences and unconventional experiences too. The path of convention is most oftentimes going to be unfulfilling for you, because it's a very human thing to not be so excited about all of these things that other people have already done, or people they already have. If you have what everyone else has, you're not special. Everyone wants to be special, right? So, some people don't realize how not special you are until you're pooled in a lecture hall with 5,000 other people that all had 95 averages in high school, that have all done all of the same volunteer shit that you've ever done. They're all the same. And when you realize that, it's like Marty from Madagascar, the
Yeah, yeah,
the
I know what you're
zebra.
talking about. Yeah, the zebra.
He's special in New York, but he's not special in the Amazon, or he's not special out in Madagascar. So
Madagascar. Yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing. It's just like always think about what you can be doing that's unique to you. Don't pursue shit because someone else is doing it. Don't try and get something that someone else has. Think about what you could be doing for yourself and what you can be doing better. If you can better yourself every single day, and that means pushing your limits every single day, then you're going to be the best version of yourself, not the best version of someone else. Because who gives a fuck about anyone else, man? It's all about you. You're living life for you and only you. And
And that's the only edge we really have, is our
yeah,
own personality and us being authentic to ourselves.
exactly. It's why else would you live life? I
Yeah.
I I I purely strive to live a life that I'm going to look back at when I'm taking my last two breaths, and be purely happy with what I've done. And I don't want to look back at my life and see that I've been following in the footsteps of another person. I don't want to look back at my life and realize that wasn't even my life. That was, me trying to pursue someone else's life. And, I've taken all of these things that I've learned just from, like I said, it started at the gym. It really did. And if you guys haven't done exercise before, anyone watching, I definitely urge you to try it for yourself, because it's not even just about developing your body. It's 99% mental. Like I said, every single time you go into the gym, it's a mental game. Like, you have a goal, or you have a task, actually, and you have to do it. And if you don't do it, you're gonna go home butthurt. And yeah, like I said, I've kept these lessons with me ever since then. It's been 2 years, and I think about it every single day. I wake up every single morning. I was like, what can I do today to better myself? And I look at all my options. And in Canada, fuck, we have so many options, bro. You could do
We are
anything you wanted, especially with the internet, right? Everyone has a phone. What's your excuse for not knowing something? If you come unprepared and you should have known something, then that's on you. It's always on you. That's the thing. So yeah, even this summer, I devoted this whole summer to facing my fears. I list my fears, and basic ones, heights. I was afraid of heights ever since I was a kid. I've been so afraid of heights. I don't know where it came from, but I am. Um, Deep water, you look at your feet and you can't see them, and you're in a big body of water. Or you're in I used to be afraid of swimming in pools. I used to think that there were sharks in the pools.
Yeah.
My crazy child brain, right? And
Yeah.
it is. It's like an immature brain. And the reason why is just because you've never been in that situation before. We're afraid of things that we don't understand, things that we don't know. So I purposefully, another thing that I was afraid of was um, socializing. Believe it or not, I didn't talk very much before. Like when I was 14, 15, that's only when I started like really pushing myself to have conversations with people. I used to have a really bad stutter, and I had a bad lisp as well when I was a kid. So I was always afraid to talk to people. I was made fun of it all the time. And so, talking is a pretty new thing to me. Like 6 years is basically what it is. I avoided all social situations at all costs. And so, yeah, this year, this summer, I went out of my way to, talk to a random person on the street. If I'm going down the elevator uh, at my condo and there's another person next to me, ask them how their day was or something interesting that happened in their day. I'm sitting on the bus next to 30 other people staring at their phones. Some people, I feel like you can relate to this for sure. You're at a party or you're at a social gathering and everyone's sitting around on the couch, like looking at their phones, or you're at your first day of class, everyone's looking at their phones. They don't
Yeah.
even know why. They're looking for reasons not to socialize, and that just makes it awkward for everyone, right? Because if you're the one person that does want to socialize, everyone else is on their phones. What do you do? Nothing. Can't do anything, right? It ruins your opportunities. So I purposely went out of my way to talk to strangers because strangers are scary. You know why they're scary? Because you don't know them. We're only afraid of things that we don't understand, things that we don't know about. And so a way that I faced both my fear of heights and my fear of deep water. This is kind of legal, but my friends and I went to these quarries, where they throw dynamite in a pit and they blow it up and they fill it up with water, or the water just seeps in. I don't know how the process works, but yeah, we went to quarries and we jump off the cliffs. We have parties on the side of cliffs, and then we jump into the water. And I realized, bro, I reference this all the time from the quarries. When I'm standing on the edge looking at the water, the longer I stand there and the more I think about it, the harder it is. When I get there, as soon as we pull up in the car, I've been there like tens of times now. Believe it or not, we have. When I get out of the car, I throw off all my clothes and I like run right off the edge right away, because then it reminds my brain that it's not scary, that like I've done it before. But the more you sit there and you try to like remember what it's like or try and imagine what it's like, your brain can't wrap its head around it. The only thing that it can do is tell you not to do it because you don't know, right?
I
And so you
think
gotta,
it is, yeah, it is so awesome, just the amount of things that you were able to accomplish. And I think that you just chose to grow up and just
yeah,
take control of your life.
that's what it is. It's
Which,
taking
yeah,
control.
because like even like I think everyone can relate to the social, uh, the issue of being scared when socializing today,
Yeah,
because it's true. It's kind of hard, and it's hard to also just come out of that consuming state, always trying to eat some sugary food, watch stuff on your device, right? Like we're sometimes we're stuck in this trance, and you've taken the time to think things over. You know yourself, you know what you want to do, you know how to get there, and you're doing it.
yeah.
And anyone can do this.
Anyone can. I've been telling everyone, it really is that simple. It well, this simple. I'll give like a very, very simple explanation to like it was a more recently realized like conscious state of consciousness that how I make decisions about approaching things the way that I do. Like before I didn't even know why I did shit the way that I did. I don't think any of us really do. It's really hard to figure out yourself, and you gotta know yourself.
Those
And
subconscious like things that it's hard to put your finger on them. Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of things that we do are subconscious because we've done it before, right? It can't be subconscious if you haven't done it before. And one of the issues with most of us right now is that we don't have our lives balanced. We're always doing, or we're always learning. We're always doing one thing. We're never taking time off to just not do anything. Like you have to leave
Exactly.
a clean part on your plate so that you can improvise. If you're not improvising, you're not doing something that you've never done before, you're not learning, you're not growing, because it's a repeat process. Everything that you've done before is a repeat process. And bro, to me that's insanity. Repeating the same process
Oh yeah.
over and over again. and getting the same result out of it, bro, we're not meant to be stagnant. We're,
Yeah.
human nature, it's pretty crazy to me to think about. Like the only one universal law is entropy, right? Things break over time. Things fall apart over time. You see a shed outside, it gets rained on. If you leave it like that, it'll rust and it'll fall apart and it'll crumble and go to the ground. That's the law for everything. But you know what? People, we build shit, don't we? We,
Yeah.
our goal in life is to take the resources that we have and make, be productive with it, build shit. And that's like,
I mean,
it's
look at this.
want that.
Like, look what civilization. It's like a tool that like it has a good grip in my hand, and like it lets out ink at the perfect amount, and it's like it's so tiny. Like, how do you make this?
No one knows, right? And you
Like
know why? Because we're not forced to do that shit anymore. Bro, that pen was invented a long time ago. And you know what? I hate to say it, but we're a lot of people in the first world countries have taken advantage of everything that's at their disposal. Everything. How many of the things that like if you were to look around your room right now, how many of those things did you build? Did you make? None of them, right? You're just fucking
yeah,
using them. Someone still made it. I don't know how long ago it was, but someone had to create that. And you know what? It is part of human nature to do that. But we don't have any outlets to do that. School doesn't program, or it doesn't let us do that. It programs us to follow, to use the tools that are already built for us. Take knowledge that is already in the textbook. Not
yeah.
finding out things for ourselves that we don't know whether we're going to know or not. And so, like I was saying, it all comes down to making what I call little decisions. There's big decisions. Everyone's faced big decisions before, and we're fully conscious of those big decisions. Like, for example, what school you want to go to. It's a really big decision, right? 4 years of your life, ton of money, and yeah, that's a big decision. Little decisions are things like, you're trying to diet. There's a bag of chips in the cupboard. The bag of chips is there, right? Like
It's
you want
whispering
it
to you.
too. Exactly. It's there's a jar of cookies there too. You had two of them already. You're like, oh, I already had two. What's the issue with one more, right? Or yeah, it's little shit like that.
Yeah, and
But
that's our we're just trying to make it okay, and trying to reason with ourselves why something maybe self-destructive is actually okay.
yeah,
You need to
and
catch
the more times you make the wrong decision in that moment, because it's binary, right? You can choose to do it or you can choose not to do it, right? It's one or the other. If you lead a life that's constantly, accepting the wrong thing, then it becomes subconscious to have that behavior. If you continually make the right little decision, and like I said, I urge everyone to go to the gym, because it's and try and get into better physical shape, because it's all about the little decisions. It's all about building discipline, the discipline to make the right decision and the right call. Because you know what? 10 little decisions made the right way is the same as one big decision made the right way, in terms of propelling your life forward in the direction that you want it to. A lot of people do know what they want, but they don't have the discipline to do it. Why? Because they don't practice. It takes practice, you know. It takes practice to build a conscious, a conscious, or the drive, like the mindset, to be able
and
to
it.
do things. And
Yeah,
like because you were asking me why I have the ability to just pursue random shit and do it, right? Like I see something and I was like, I want to do that. And when I say I want to do something, like I tell my friends I want to do something, I do it. Like I don't speak up about it otherwise. I'll think about it, like I'm interested in this, but if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And the only reason why I have that ability is because I've practiced it. time and time again, every single day. That's what I do.
And you're not lying to yourself, and you're not lying to others.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing, is lying to yourself, you know. Even lying to others is lying to yourself in a way too. Because if you tell someone that you have done something, you haven't done it, or you're exaggerating it, if you do that over and over again, you actually start to think that you've experienced it the way that you said it, right? Like
Yeah.
if you say, I've been to this place, and you tell 10 people, now you gotta hold up your lie, right? So you're like, you think that you actually experienced it, and you think that you know what it's all about. But you know what? That holds you back from, actually doing it and then experiencing what it was like for yourself. It might be totally different than you imagined. People just think that because, things are so easily Googleable, that it's the same shit as experiencing it for yourself. Having the knowledge.
No.
It's different.
No.
Knowledge is so much different um, from wisdom. It is. It's really different. Knowledge isn't like an emotional attachment. It's just an awareness. And then wisdom is having the gut feeling. You can't develop the senses that you have. It's beyond just awareness.
And that could be looked at as truth.
It is, yeah.
Because like an internal truth that's deeply rooted in your subconscious is that's your gut feeling. That's your subconscious telling you what to do.
Yeah, it is. People don't listen to their guts now. It most of the time knows what's best, because how long have you been living for, versus how long have the thousands of generations that are embedded, encoded in your DNA, how long have they been living for? That's knowledge. That's knowledge
Yeah.
in our genes. It is. We're just not aware of it. Awareness is different than having those instinctive abilities. We gotta trust our instincts. If it's brought us this far, thousands of years in evolution, it's good to think, okay,
Trust it. Yeah.
maybe Mother Nature's got it right, And like I said, I think having a balance is super, super key, because if you look around in the world, like how many things are unbalanced in nature? Very, very little, right? And the things that are unbalanced are most of the time our fault. Like we're creating that imbalance, right? Introducing new species to the wrong habitat, and then they end up taking over the habitat and then destroying it. That's our fault. Boats, planes, that shit, that's us. And that's the problem with consciousness. If things just happen the way the universe wanted it to, it would happen in a balance. But we have the ability to go against it. We do. But we should realize that we should go with it. And that's our problem.
Yeah.
Ignorance. We haven't realized, the universe has a plan for us. Like yin and yang, right? Having a balance of goodness. Having, if you've never felt bad before, you can't have an appreciation for things that are good in life. If you've never felt good before, you can't have an appreciation for how shit your situation is, right?
That's what makes life worth living, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a paradox. It's like life entails suffering, but without suffering, and suffering is suffering. I mean, it's like the worst thing ever. But without suffering, life is meaningless because it has no point.
It's true. And like if you're talking about goals and stuff, like how you achieve things, or how you have the will to achieve things, it's because like you realize that when you put work in, there is an emotional reward. You'll want to keep doing things that are good for you. if you do them in the first place. You commit. But if you keep just doing things and not doing them fully and thoroughly and achieving what you set out to achieve, what you've promised yourself, you lose the sense of trust with yourself. You're not willing to go out of your way to push your limits anymore because you've never fulfilled it before. Like you've been lying to yourself. And yeah, back to what I was saying about like having a balance in your life. You have to have a balance of doing and not doing, like activity and dormancy. You have to give yourself some time to breathe. You'd be surprised. Like people always ask. I've seen a ton of videos on like evolution, like why humans sleep. It is a good question. Like most people just think, oh well, you need sleep. But like why? You could just eat and have energy all the time to do shit, right? But you're meant to not do things sometimes. You're meant to go out and party sometimes, and you're meant to go and work sometimes. If you don't do both, you can't have an appreciation for both. You can't. It's just the way that humans work, and
And I
we should
think
listen.
it's interesting how like when you go up, like when you work really hard, you have to take a well-deserved break. So it's kind of like that. And even with sleep, like when you work your brain harder or work your body harder, your body actually requires more sleep to repair itself. And
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's just like the saying, work hard, play hard.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's
There,
interesting how
there are
it scales up.
so many different metaphors and sayings that we never really listen to. Like we put them in the sentence, but we never feel them, and it's really hard to empathize with like the motive behind saying that in the first place, unless you've experienced it yourself. And people have said these things before so many times, because it's true. Like I said, it's part of human nature. Everything runs in binary. It's positive and negative, up, down, left, right. Do all of them, but keep it balanced. Do an equal amount of both, and you'll find that living your life that way, realizing that there's another side to every single thing that you do. Like I said, so many people are going down one path right now. They're going down the path of convention, built off of these other people that have done things in the past, that have pursued and innovated and pioneered things in the past. Everything's built off of that. And then not going the other way and pioneering new. So I was saying that it's good to have a balance of things in your life, and it's good to most people are going down a single path of just working off of what other people have built, and there aren't enough Elon Musks, Bill Gates in the world. There aren't enough pioneers in the world, creators. There's a lot of destroyers, and there's a lot of people that are doing kind of meaningless work within the bound of someone else. It's just work at someone else's. You're at someone else's disposal. And there should be a balance. Everything runs in a balance. Atoms can't function without a positive and negative. They can't. They rely on each other, and we're all built on of atoms, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you look in the world. That's how nature is, and that's how we should be too. It's how we should live our lives.
Amazing, man. It's crazy. Just balance is I've noticed that it's the one thing that like it doesn't have any exceptions to. Change and balance. There's always change, there's always balance. So I guess I'm just gonna ask you a couple more questions. How do you deal with negativity and people who hate? Because I mean, you're such a positive guy, and you have that vibe. But what do you do when someone tries to put you down or brings in
Um,
negative energy?
well, believe it or not, I get it a lot. Uh, like people that think that I'm lying about the things that I've done before, or people that think that it's impossible. And every single time, um, like I have to deal with negativity. Um, First of all, I ask myself why they're behaving that way first, and most oftentimes it's because they wish they could be doing the things that I was doing,
Yeah.
and or they wish they could have the things that I have, and so a lot of my time recently has been spent trying to show people that it's possible, like that that it's that there is a route to doing things the way that I do, or whether they want it or not. But I don't see another reason why they'd be complaining about my life if because I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not taking too much. I give back whatever I give, right? I give back whatever I take. Um, and so I've come to realize that there's reasoning behind negativity in everyone's head. It's usually because of a lack of uh, really it sounds horrible, but it's usually because of a lack of confidence in their self. If someone's being negative to other people about things that they're doing, like, why would they care unless it was something that affects them personally? And
Yeah.
if you draw that back to like how they're living their lives, it's because they're not living it the way that they want to. And the only reason why they're not is because they don't have the confidence to live it the way that they want to. You know, um, yeah, that's the main reason why.
Yeah.
Another way
Thanks. Yeah.
that I've learned to deal with negativity in my life, people that tell me I can't do things, or that I'm doing the wrong thing. I get that a lot, like, because I do things so unusually. Um, I Well, first of all, when going and proving people wrong feels pretty good. No one thought that, like, I started training jujitsu in Rockland. Do you know where that is? No.
That's in
Oh,
it's
you
in
do? Outside of Ottawa. Well, not. It's a very, very small town, is what I'm trying to get at.
Mhm.
Uh, it's a very, very small town, and yeah, that's where I trained jujitsu. Like, I told the person that was training me that I wanted to, like, compete in nationals. He laughed. He fucking laughed at me, and you know what?
Yeah.
That, like, I was just like, huh, okay, like, doing that, going and then proving to myself that I could compete and win in nationals, bro. That not only felt so good, I came upon the realization that, like, it doesn't matter what anyone else fucking says. If you commit to it yourself, you will find the way to accomplish it. You will. I didn't look within the gym, like, I didn't look at the people that I was training with as my way to get there. I trained with people that were above the national level in order to get there. I went to Orlando and I lived there for a couple of weeks, and I trained my ass off 12 hours a day doing that.
Damn. That's
So,
a lot of jujitsu.
and I got used to training like that. So if I'm used to that, like, that's what I'm prepared for, and it's above what the people are doing in Rockland, what the people are doing in Nova Scotia,
I
what
don't
the
think
people are doing.
anyone's training for 12 hours, man.
Exactly. Not very
That's
many.
that's when you
Well, you'd be surprised, but it depends who you train with. It depends, like, what you get out of your training sessions and what motive you have with every time you step into the gym, right? Whatever mindset you have. Um, every single time to make little improvements along the way. So I just realized that, like, you know, a lot of people say this, you shouldn't give a fuck about what anyone says. But like, once you can't really like feel that for yourself until you've gone out of your way to to prove someone wrong, you know,
Mm.
or to prove that you know yourself enough to know what's best for you, so that when you do say that you're going to do something and someone else says that you can't do it, and then you go and do that, you proved yourself right. You develop this trust with yourself, and it
And
comes with time.
it's not even about like resenting other people and calling other
No, it's
people
not.
toxic.
It's about
It's
you.
like your own thing.
Exactly. It's not about, you know, it's not about spiting people. I'm not about that. I don't go out of my way to, you know, make other people feel butthurt. In fact, sometimes when people say that I don't do things, and I don't actually have interest in doing them, I'll just do it, and then I'll show them how I did it. Like, I'll talk to them about, yo, okay, so you said I couldn't do this. I did it. Do you want to know how? They're like, no, no, I don't want to. And you know what? They're a lost cause, bro. Like, they got to figure out their own way,
Yeah.
but they will eventually. But if they are interested, you know what? That changes their whole life. You know, that one little experience. They're like, ah, I guess you can do shit, right? And and it's like such a common issue right now. People thinking that they're limited by some sort of boundary, but it's not a boundary. It's just like, you know, like our education system is just, you know, it's what we have, but like it's not all
Yeah.
that we have. There's still a whole world out there. That's just Canadian education system. Bro, I didn't go train in Canada to be the best in Canada. I trained somewhere else, right? Like,
You were so resourceful. You just grab all the opportunities that you got and even reached out to people and use your networks to your advantage, which I really admire.
yeah, thanks, man. Well, it's just about keeping an open mind, man. It really is.
What advice would you give to your past self?
Hmm.
Like to you, like when you think maybe you needed it the most, like early teens, like somewhere like wherever you think you needed it the most.
That's a tough one. You know, knowing me, I probably wouldn't have listened because I was so fucking stubborn. That's the thing about
Well,
being me.
knowing that it's coming from yourself.
Yeah, I still probably wouldn't listen. I'm the kind of person where I have to figure out things myself. But one thing that I would listen to, that I would have like an emotional connection with, um, is telling myself to push my comfort zone, like to live outside of my comfort zone. Not everyone says live life on the edge, or don't live life on the edge. Live life over the edge. Live your life outside of the edge is still where everyone else lives. Like, it's not that far from where everyone else lives. Do things against what everyone says. Because, and I dealt with so many people in my life before that were telling me that this was the right way and this was the wrong way. Like, knowing that I'm so stubborn and I have to figure out things myself, just telling myself to do things different from other people, that's what's brought me the most success in my life right now, doing things differently. And I think that's what would have driven, you know, a faster rate of success for me and fulfillment, if I'd known that sooner.
That's so awesome, man. Um, just finally, do you have any plugs that you wanna anything, any Instagram or whatever?
Oh, any plugs for myself? I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
other people. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my Instagram is Fresh Prince of Rockland. And yeah, you can find out all about me on Fresh Prince of Rockland. I've also got my fitness page that I'm going to. I've neglected to really you know, amp it up, but I we didn't even get to e-commerce or entrepreneurship. But this year, I'm devoting most of my year to starting an e-commerce fitness enterprise, and I'm going to be running fitness programs, and yeah, they're all going to be plugged on my fitness page. So go follow Devon, DEVON.fitness, and stay tuned because they're coming soon. I'm working on them every single day. After this, I'm gonna be going straight to my laptop and writing out all of the program syllabus and stuff like that for the fitness programs. And yeah.
Man, thank you so much. And I'm actually looking forward to those programs. I might do one of them.
I'll send them straight to you.
All right, sick. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was
And thanks for
just
inviting
such
me.
an amazing conversation.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. This was awesome. I guess I hope we can do this again.
Yeah.
Stay in touch, and
Sure, man.
yeah, peace, guys.